For 3 decades, Johnny Carson owned late-night television with a composure that seemed unshakable, handling presidents and nervous celebrities with equal charm while trading rapid-fire wit with the best comedians alive. But even the master met guests who tested his legendary cool in ways that created moments of pure chaos. The kind of raw television that would never make it past today's handlers and publicists. Before every celebrity appearance got micromanaged into oblivion, The Tonight Show sometimes witnessed unpredictable encounters that shocked audiences and left even Carson visibly rattled. These are the stories of guests who pushed Johnny to his absolute limits. Burt Reynolds and DeLuise stage an all-out food war. Carson generally enjoyed having Burt Reynolds on the show, and the mustachioed star reliably delivered charming stories from Hollywood's golden era. But when Reynolds appeared alongside his comedian friend, DeLuise, on September 26, 1974, what started as a standard interview descended into mayhem that left the entire set destroyed. DeLuise arrived with a can of whipped cream, supposedly to demonstrate a cooking technique, but the mischief in his eyes told a different story as he winked at Reynolds. Carson, sensing trouble but unable to predict the scale, remarked with the wariness of someone who'd hosted thousands of celebrities that he had a feeling this wasn't really about cooking. Without warning, DeLuise sprayed whipped cream directly at Reynolds, who responded by grabbing Carson's water pitcher and emptying the entire thing down DeLuise's pants. The audience erupted as the two friends engaged in what quickly became an all-out assault on decorum itself, and that's when the chaos spilled onto Carson himself. Reynolds grabbed the whipped cream can and turned it on the host, spraying a line directly across his immaculate suit. "That's a $500 suit," Carson exclaimed, genuine irritation breaking through his professional mask for one of the rare times in his career. His smile never disappeared, but longtime viewers could see the difference between his real laugh and his "I'm going to murder you during commercial break" laugh, and this was definitely the latter. The famous Tonight Show carpet ended up soaked through, Carson's desk dripped with cream, and his expensive suit was ruined beyond any hope of salvation. 3 more guests were scheduled that evening, all of whom would have to navigate a sticky disaster zone, while Carson made pointed references to the hurricane that just destroyed our set. Reynolds sent a replacement suit as a peace offering, while DeLuise reportedly sent industrial-strength carpet cleaner to the studio. Carson quipped the next night that the show was now brought to you by Swiffer and Stanley Steamer, and though both comedians returned many times, they were never booked together again. Madonna crosses every line on live television. When Madonna appeared on June 9, 1987, she was at the absolute height of her provocateur phase, and her determination to shock Carson's largely middle American audience was clear from the moment she walked on stage in a black lace outfit that barely met broadcast standards. Rather than taking her seat at a respectful distance, she immediately positioned herself unusually close to Carson, invading the carefully maintained personal space he used to control every interview dynamic. The conversation quickly escalated from merely flirtatious to overtly sexual territory that had the control booth in full panic mode. When Carson asked about her upcoming film, Madonna responded not with standard promotional talking points, but with explicit descriptions of scenes that had been cut for being too risque, then suggested that Carson come to her hotel later so she could show him exactly what got removed. The audience reaction mixed shocked gasps with titillated laughter, while Carson tugged at his tie in his characteristic gesture of extreme discomfort. Madonna knew exactly what she was doing, recalled one writer years later. And she wasn't just flirting, but deliberately trying to make Carson uncomfortable on his own show as a calculated power play. The situation escalated when Madonna's comments became so explicit that the network censor activated the 5-second delay button, resulting in a brief silence that alerted viewers at home that something inappropriate had been said. The censor had to hit the button 3 more times during that single interview, unprecedented for a show that usually stayed well within broadcast standards. Madonna then placed her hand on Carson's knee, a gesture that crossed one of television's unspoken boundaries since physical contact between host and guest was extremely rare unless initiated by Carson himself. The camera caught his expression transforming from professional amusement to genuine discomfort as Ed McMahon interjected with a hearty laugh to provide his longtime colleague a moment to recalibrate. Carson managed to gradually steer the conversation toward Madonna's music career for the remainder of the segment, but the tension never fully dissipated. When the interview finally ended, his relief was palpable as cameras caught him wiping his brow in an uncharacteristic display of stress. Network executives reportedly requested that Madonna not be booked again during Carson's tenure. Don Rickles breaks Johnny's prized possession. Comedian Don Rickles and Johnny Carson shared one of late-night television's most entertaining friendships, with Rickles' insult comedy and Carson's reactions creating reliable comedy gold. But on December 13, 1976, Rickles took their relationship into unprecedented territory when he accidentally destroyed something Carson had treasured for nearly a decade. That night, Bob Newhart was guest hosting The Tonight Show with Rickles as the main guest. And during a comedy bit where Rickles played an immigration agent, he used Carson's wooden cigarette box as a prop rubber stamp. After one particularly hard slam on the desk, Rickles noticed the box had broken and went into mock panic, which delighted the audience but would have real consequences the next night. When Carson returned on December 14th and noticed his broken cigarette box, an heirloom that had sat on his desk since 1967, he was told that Rickles had destroyed it the previous evening. Learning that Rickles was in the building taping his sitcom, CPO Sharky, Carson grabbed a camera crew and walked across the hall to exact revenge. "Stop the taping!" Carson shouted as he burst onto the Sharky set, broken box in hand. "Someone broke my cigarette box." Rickles was doubled over in nervous laughter as Carson made his accusation in front of both studio audiences, and the exchange that followed became one of the most replayed moments in Tonight Show history. Carson called Rickles a big dummy and insulted his flailing sitcom before walking out, but not before mockingly glaring at Rickles and playfully slapping his face. The incident became legendary, not just for the impromptu nature of the confrontation, but because it perfectly captured the genuine affection underneath their mock hostility. Nearly 2 years later, on November 13, 1978, Rickles found himself guest hosting The Tonight Show with Carol O'Connor when he began banging Carson's replacement cigarette box on the desk before realizing what he was doing and stopping dead, holding the box up reverently like a religious artifact. These moments reveal what made Carson special, not just his ability to maintain composure, but how he navigated chaos with grace while protecting his guests' dignity, even when they tested his patience. In today's carefully controlled media landscape, such unpredictable moments have become nearly impossible, reminding us of an era when late-night television could still genuinely surprise everyone, including the unflappable Johnny Carson himself.